Welcome to the What Now podcast. I'm Daryl Elliott, and I'm here with the Avengers, Dream Team, the Mighty Clouds of Joy, Reggie McClurkin, Archbishop Daryl Chase, and Monica Ojo. And we're glad that we can come to you today to share things that matter the most and what we are going to do moving forward. But before we get started, we want you to subscribe, like, and share to all of our channels here on Believe Broadcasting. We want to thank you all for your participation and also your viewership. It means a lot to us. So just keep on telling everybody that we're here and we are here to give you information and also some direction, hopefully, for the future. But we want you to be ready for the upcoming season and start preparing for voting. I want to make that clear. Yes. If you have not registered to vote, now is the time to make sure everything is clear concerning your voter registration so that we're not coming up on next year's election season. Some of you, it may take you a few months to make sure all of your paperwork is in order. So I felt really compelled to bring that up today to make sure that you are preparing to register to vote as we are going to be moving into another true voting cycle very, very soon.
Absolutely.
How you doing, everybody? Good to see you all. We've been away for quite a while.
Yeah, been too long.
It's good to see you all.
Yes.
In a minute.
Yes, it's been a couple of minutes.
Back together again. Back together.
Yes.
So much has happened, guys. So much has happened since we last talked.
Wow.
And first of all, I think it is very important for us to have something to say because it's still a topic of conversation, and that is the death of one Charlie Kirk. It's really something because I just was before his murder and before that had taken place. We were just talking about him. I know I was not very long ago, and he was really inserting himself in the news. But there are a lot of mixed feelings about Charlie Kirk. But we can get into those in a moment. But I promised the panel, everyone, that I was going to drop a question on them that they did not know was coming, and I'm going to jump to the memorial. And at the memorial, we
Jesus.
Well, we're not sure if it was a memorial or a rally, to tell you the truth. But Charlie Kirk's wife came up and said that she forgave the shooter.
Oh.
She said that publicly. I'm going to ask your feelings about that moment. What do you think about it? I'm hearing varying opinions and thoughts concerning that, but I want to hear from you guys. So, Reggie, I think you're coming in hot today, man. So,
you know what? I'm ready to fire on both barrels today.
Go ahead. I'm giving it to you.
First of all, you know what? Shame on all of them. I mean, she rendered an Academy Award performance. I, in no way, shape, form, and I'm gonna keep it nice today. I'm gonna be partially nice, but I'm gonna be very thorough. His wife, like I said, deserves an Academy Award because the way she went to I forgive him. The whole thing. First of all, my biggest question is, I'm upset. I don't know if you all are aware of this. Do you all not know there has been 18,000 requests for chapters for their, turning point to become affiliated with them? And so far, they have received donations of over $18 million just off of this little facade of saying they were holding a memorial service, which wasn't a memorial service. How are you going to have a memorial service? His mama, his daddy, none of his siblings, none of his cousins, none of his aunties, none of his uncles, none of them were there. And if they were there, they were not allowed to be presented in any form, in any format. So the whole thing was a stage production just to take up more money. And like I said, the thing that blew me away, because everyone was, they had allegedly, they said there were more than 200,000 people who were there. Now, I didn't know that arena held 200,000 people, but, and they were still people, they said, waiting to get outside. But in all of this godliness of trying to proclaim him as the 13th disciple for both of our pastors here, and he was like Jesus. I don't know if you all saw the picture of Jesus, hugging him, saying, he says, Father, if I had a little bit more time, I could have got more to come to you. And Jesus looked at him and said, my son, but you got more than you would ever know. I mean, everything was just so much pageantry. And I was just this close to just going on a tissy cussing fit, to make such a mockery out of, religion, out of, true relationship with Jesus Christ. But the whole thing was just pageantry for me. I didn't find no joy in any of it. And the only thing that was greater disturbance to me was to see that many people who actually they interviewed people. I don't know if you all saw some interviews, but those are the things I look at when I'm, like I said, flying or whatever. I was just amazed how many people are just trying to make this man out to be like the second coming of Jesus Christ. He is Jesus Christ reincarnated. And there's nothing about him we who are in ministry knows that lines up with the scriptures. Nothing. And Howard John Wesley, Daryl, I'm sure you saw, did you see his, because he went viral with his post from down Alfred Street, and he had over 200 requests from media around the world asking him to make some comments. And he said, no, Howard John Wesley and my pastor are like fraternity brothers. They best buds. And so, like I said, we talk to him all the time. And he says he absolutely will not do any interviews and anything like that. But they have had to spend over something like $30,000 securing better security with armed guards there at the church because they were threatened and all these MAGA people was coming to storm the church and all this type of things. But he hit the nail on his head. If you all have not seen his like 16-minute clip of his sermon, you really need to check that out. But that pageantry, I was just this close. I just wanted to get on a plane and just drop a bomb and just send them all to wherever their heaven is, because it's obviously we're serving two different Jesus and they're not serving the same God that we serve. So I'm gonna keep it nice and I'll just, digress and move on from there.
Well, Archbishop, I'm gonna bring you in here because I see your wheels turning. So
yes.
Go ahead.
I think the thing that we have to look at is this.
I love when you do that because I know something good is coming.
Is that we yes, I believe that the perception and the reality of God is different in the two camps.
Right. Mm-hmm.
These are the same people that came up with the doctrine of discovery.
Yes.
And eminent domain, as if other people did not exist. This is contradictory to Scripture. So here we are, and with a country that is faced with turmoil.
Yes.
On racial issues, because yes, Charlie Kirk was murdered, but the reality was he was murdered by a MAGA person.
Thank you.
That's number one. Number two is that since he was murdered, there have been several lynchings.
Thank you. Bring it. Come on.
And I think it's more important for us to focus on the lynchings more than Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk has been here and gone. He's past. He's gone. Okay, we can't bring him back. Okay, we don't want to bring him back. But here's the reality: is murder wrong? Yes. Do we have freedom of speech here in the United States? That is a question that remains to be seen with all this turmoil going on. And you have a president who wants to use media and thwart free speech at his will. Okay. So what we really got to deal with is we've got to start looking at what are the things that are necessary for us as a community, not only as a local community, but a regional, a national, and then a global community.
And a global, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, to get beyond this nonsense. Now, here's what we've really got to face with this is that his religious convictions are what they were. They were religious convictions. Okay, this is his mindset. That is his religion. Okay, I don't deal with religion.
Amen. Yeah,
I deal with faith.
Faith. Amen.
Okay, because religion kills us. And instead of having faith in the one who is, was, and evermore shall be, we rely on our religion that pulls us away, because now we're looking at our cultural, social, economic plight or status. And we're bringing that into the mix of religion, but it's not faith. Now, if I was to tell you what faith is simply this. The Lord told us what is going to happen. We should not be dismayed.
Right.
We should not be afraid either. But I will tell you this. Because of these lynchings, I have reasserted my position with the absolute fact that our people need to get trained, need to get armed, and we need to defend each other. How do you have a young man, and I'm sorry I have to digress, I know we're talking about Charlie Kirk, but how do you have a young man in Illinois that's invited to a barn party by two friends that go to Wisconsin?
Yes.
They abuse him, beat him.
Yes.
The sheriff comes because there was a fire, and the sheriff never even mentioned what was going on.
Absolutely.
He was only concerned with the fire. How do you have not one, but two individuals down in Mississippi lynched in less than a week's time? How do you have another person lynched in Central Park?
In Central Park.
You see, I don't know about you, but I'm absolutely tired of this, because the reality is we have ropes too.
Yes. Come on.
You see, when they get together, it's called a gathering. When we get together, it's called a gang. Okay. But they're the ones who have gang mentality.
Yes. And
that's what we have to combat. But I'm going to tell you something. We've all had the kumbaya moment, and we're going to be peaceful and so on. But you want to know something? I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes your enemies have to know.
Come on, Archbishop.
And faith without works is dead.
Yes. Come on now.
Sometimes when they do that faithful, we got to show them.
Thank you. Come on, brother.
The reality of what they've done. And so, a lot of these things that are happening since Charlie Kirk's death are in retaliation.
Yes.
But they're retaliating against the wrong people. We're not the ones who make weapons of mass destruction.
Thank you.
We're not the ones who bombed Nagasaki and Hiroshima. We're not the ones who gave blankets with smallpox to the natives. We're not the ones.
That's right.
So anytime we talk about a genocide, a murder, and so on and so forth, we got to look to them because they are the author thereof.
They are author thereof. Come on, Archbishop.
So, me personally, as a black man in America, I'm tired of us trying to be nice to people who are not being nice to us. Dagnabbit, we heard turn the other cheek. You only have two cheeks.
Thank you.
Time comes when you have to stand.
Stand. Thank you.
Okay? That kumbaya stuff worked back in the 60s. And then what we did was, instead of keeping the pressure on, we dropped the ball.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And now we're saying, what did we do? Where did we go wrong? The place that we went wrong is simply this. Every time something happens, we go begging.
Yes.
Powers that be. No, my brothers and my sisters.
Come on, Rich.
That is not the way we should go. We don't have to beg for anything. I don't have to beg for human dignity. I don't have to beg for human rights. I don't have to beg somebody to recognize me. I don't care if you recognize me or not, but do not infringe upon my livelihood, my community, my family, my community. Don't do that.
Thank you.
Because once you do, you make yourself an enemy of the state.
That's right.
And that state is the state of the kingdom of you, Almighty God himself. Yes. And until the rest of the Western world gets that in their mind, there's going to be problems. And the problems that they're heading to with our end of retaliation, is going to be frightful. Then you're going to see Gog against Magog, brother against brother.
Yes.
Not realizing that they came from us, not the other way around.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Scientific fact.
Scientific fact.
Anthropological fact. And we keep trying to bow down to something that has done nothing but oppressed us.
Nothing. Thank you.
I'm not bowing down to anybody or anything except for the Lord my God.
Thank you. Come on, Archbishop.
So if the rest of the country wants to bow down to Charlie Kirk, fine. Let them, and let them be damned. If they want to bow down to Donald Trump, fine, and let them be damned.
Manika,
I knew in my house.
I knew we were in trouble. Manika, I knew we were in trouble when Bishop had that darn flag behind his head. I knew something. I knew he was coming in hot.
Yes.
He texted me earlier. I knew something was awry. I knew something was going on. Manika, what you got? Go ahead. I'll let you come on in.
Okay, so honestly, my unfriending button was really working well on Facebook, but I mean, like some of my brothers, I'm like, wait a minute, I had to call them out. I'm like, really? I'm like, why is this even an issue? First of all, I've never heard of Charlie Kirk. And then when I found out who he was and why he was assassinated, I had even less interest in him.
Absolutely.
But I felt that the media was really pressing to put him at the forefront, to you really force feed how important this man was to a certain segment of the population. And I'm pretty sure that there are some extreme followers, some people that probably heard of him, some people that probably buy in a little bit of it. I would venture to say that probably the majority of the people that were supporting him were probably people that bought into it a little bit or may have heard some, force feed or what have you. The fact is that your perception is your reality. He never came across my feed in any form or fashion, but I don't follow a lot of the MAGA movement at all. And honestly, what he stood for and his position on guns, his positions on race, his position on gender was very problematic to me. And the only reason why we're even having this conversation about him today, probably you all may be aware. I know Daryl was aware of him, but most people I knew had no clue as to who this man was.
Right.
So while I don't want anyone to be impacted by violence, you know, I'm not going to his funeral. You know, I'm not supporting anything that he did when he was alive.
Absolutely.
Because from what I understand, he was brought in by a bunch of old folks who had a lot of money to, you know, create this organization, and he'd be the face. And then he go on to college campuses to, you know, to either, in his mind, debate this issue, or to, to be this voice of conservatism that really, you know, had centers an agenda around white supremacy. And to me, that's not cool. And so, you know, and what we have to do as African Americans as well, we have ignored these type of things in the past, but this one here, it was almost like if you ignore it, then, you know, you're supporting, you're supporting violence. You know, but as you saw when he got shot, the first thing that they did is they came to, oh, you people on the left, the whole collective left is responsible for him dying.
Exactly.
Yes, but you did not look inside. But here's what I see here with this whole MAGA movement and this whole conservative movement throughout this whole entire country. And we've seen this. And history, world history shows that these type of movements do not survive. You know why? Because once they get the power, they implode. They start going against each other. So we know that this was
obviously happening now.
Yeah. I mean, they're imploding, and we only see the best part of it, and the best part is not good. Do you see what I'm saying? So I can only imagine what's really happening inside the MAGA world. But the fact is that at one point or another, your basic assumption, your humanity is going to kick in a little bit, whether it's at 1% or 20% or whatever. Your social construct for white folks, the majority of them, is that this is a white society. And all of these opportunities for success were designated and designed for us and our for us and our legacies. That that is the basic mindset that fuels white supremacy, and I believe is very prevalent in probably most of society. Now, whether it's acted upon in the way that we're seeing with the MAGA movement, it's a very different thing, or if it's undercovered by layers and stuff like that. The general premises is, and there is no denying this, and white people will deny it, but they have been taught to believe that they are the superior race, that these opportunities are for them, that affirmative action hurts them, but they are the inventors of affirmative action, actually. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, is that you have 50% of people that that kind of fall in between, in the middle. I don't know what the middle is. See, the middle works for white folks, and that's really, the middle is actually privilege. Because for African Americans, we cannot stand in the middle because we are at the center of their anger. We're at the center of their excuses as to why society is not thriving. We're at the center of everything in this country that is preventing them from being successful. And so that, to me, is my take on the Charlie Kirk. He was not an issue for me. I didn't watch any of the coverage. And if I saw it, I kind of moved away from it because I don't bring that into my spirit. I didn't know who the man was. And if I'm going to cry over somebody that got, that were violently shot and killed or assassinated on the street. I need to go to the streets of Chicago, Detroit,
Thank you. Thank you.
Pennsylvania, York County, Pennsylvania, where that incident happened, just less than 5 minutes from my home, where the 5 police officers were shot. Those are the people I'm gonna mourn. Those are the people I'm gonna mourn. I'm gonna mourn people that I know. That I know that was at least trying to do some good in society. I cannot mourn someone I don't know. That's my position on Charlie Kirk.
I think the problem we're having dealing specifically with this political movement is that they are, I think a good way of saying is that they're pushing to create, they are a cult of personality. And so since they are a cult of personality, it's going to constantly be this need for a symbolic person, as someone who represents all of their racism, all of their white supremacy. While you all were talking, I just had something come up on my feed that now someone just introduced a measure in Congress, a resolution to put Charlie Kirk on some currency, on some U.S. money. So the deification is something that it's something that all mankind falls prey to. I'm not going to put it on them, but in this instance, this is not, I would say, this is not truly a political movement. I think it very much is. It is very cultish in their ways, in their behavior. But what we're seeing is this whole thing, and here's the other guy. Here's the elephant in the room, or maybe let me say the elephant ankles in the room. Is that they are already trying to line up successors for Donald Trump. So one of their personalities that was emerging, 31 years old, someone young, someone that can ensure power for a long time, is gone. JD Vance, we know that he's sponsored and he's kind of propped up, but let's be honest, he doesn't have the juice. Not from a charismatic perspective. Evil dictator dreams you can see all over him. But as far as if nothing else, Donald Trump is charismatic. And if you ever encounter him, he can be extremely charming. And you just didn't know that he was all evil on the inside. And so this is a movement that is trying to figure out what it's going to do, who it's going to follow. They're very much into who's going to be the leader. And I think they are already trying to prepare to move on from Donald Trump. And one of their potential people was Charlie Kirk. If he had going on, and it doesn't mean he was going to be president in 28 or anything like that, but he built such a following that he could have been a quickly emerging person. Now, to Black MAGA, y'all are not going to slide on this one, okay? Because Black MAGA showed off at the death of Charlie Kirk. Guys, I had to work hard to get out of some of these discussions that I am responsible for starting. Reggie had to message me from overseas. Daryl, stop fighting with these people.
That's it. Absolutely.
But what is amazing is how vigorous we are coming to the defense of people who do not mean us well, but cannot come to the defense of the people who are our own. And I think I'll just leave it there with that. You know, if you all follow me, you can see the fights and the discussions that we've had. But the shame is that, just like Monica said, mourning the people you know and people who are really connected to you. And I didn't play this time, and I really don't want to give this person any airtime on these. But there is a gentleman out there who basically told all the black people in MAGA, y'all have been merely tokens, and we have, now that we've gotten all that we wanted, we don't need you. That's what he said. Okay.
Exactly. Ain't got everything though.
Yeah. But you know, I'm not going to give him.
They used them. They let them know that you were just unnecessary, evil.
Yes,
we needed to use.
And when the white guy tells you that you were a token, and that we don't, and we need you no longer, I think it's time to sit up there and listen to the music. Everybody, this is a short part today. Go ahead, Bishop.
I just want to touch on two things. Number one, it's not a political movement at all. It is a racial movement. Okay. And what we're seeing is the years, centuries of guilt being displayed while they are trying to say, hey, yeah, we're guilty, but you want to know something? We're going to keep doing what we do.
Yes.
In spite of you, because if we hand this over to you, life as we know it will be over. Here's the reality of it. And I think we all have to take account, other than technological advances and so on and so forth, that most of those technological advances were done by us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And did not get the credit for it.
And then get the credit.
Okay. Are we that advanced as a species? As people, to think that this creation of race, which only started, a couple of 100 years ago.
Exactly.
Are we so naive to think that this creation of race is really going to stop the forward momentum of people who are in contradiction to a less than 30% of the world populace having total control? You see, now we've been told, and I saw something on YouTube a little earlier where a white gentleman was telling his counterparts that they have to be mindful of what's going on in Africa. He was telling them from a point of, you have to understand that we have hurt these people for so long that our salvation is going to come from them, not the other way around.
That's right.
But there is a total opposite group of people that are well represented within this MAGA movement, the orange man being the chief of them, who think that they have an absolute right to oppress, to steal, kill, and destroy anything and anyone that is in opposition to themselves or is not on their side. Now, my question is this, ladies and gentlemen. Whose job is it to steal, kill, and destroy.
Right.
The answer is quite simple. We're seeing the spirit of Antichrist, Satan personified. We're seeing it. Okay, we've been seeing it. And our people like to play shine boy so much to get a bone from massa. Those days are over.
Thank you. Ain't going back either.
You know, when I was a kid, I cracked up because I heard the KKK's recruitment song. Okay, and I'm like, well, why don't we have a recruitment song?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and why don't we stand up? We've got to stand up, and I'm going to tell our brown and yellow and beige people everywhere, they're against you too. Don't think that this is just against, they want to get rid of all Mexicans. No, they don't want to get rid of all Mexicans. They want to get rid of everything that is not like them. The funny thing is that you have some congressmen and some senators,
yes,
from that very background that are so used to playing in that arena and being accepted as one of them, they start talking against their own people.
Yeah.
I think the whole issue of MAGA revolves. Well, one, let's start with the selfishness of MAGA. I think selfishness is one of the tenets of MAGA. so when we look at how MAGA is its ideology, it has really no concern for anyone else but self and the dear leader. I don't know if you all noticed that, but it's a very selfishly oriented. It has nothing to do with public service. It has nothing to do with regard for others, and its core belief system, obvious, is so selfish that they are willing to turn on each other unapologetically. So I want to keep this in our minds, everyone. I want to move us to the next topic. We're on a short pod today, but I want to bring up another big topic, a very very prevalent one in the news right now. Jimmy Kimmel is since we've been gone, he's been gone and he's back.
He's definitely back.
Somewhat.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Right. We'll see how that goes, right? But I saw his monologue. He actually had a 30-minute basically monologue yesterday, and he did not stop his criticism of Donald Trump. Disney is in now you talk about a no-win situation. Disney is in a no-win situation.
Yes.
Because now both sides are mad at them.
Well, it goes against their whole philosophical views. Remember, Disney as an organization, was at the forefront of bringing African American heroes and princesses to the stage. Walt Disney has incorporated diverse characters in this film that lacked the stereotypes, for decades. So it really goes against what Disney stood for and how they were able to really make their fortune.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is Disney really Disney now, though? That's the great question.
Well, I mean, even if it's not Disney, even if they have a different CEO, we are all, products of Disney. Disney is definitely in our DNA. It's a part of our cultural experience, no matter who we are, Black, white American. If you're born in this country, you know Disney and you know all brands. And if you were fortunate enough to go to the school, to the amusement parks or had close proximity to it, then you were able to do it. And it may not be the same Disney that it is, but one CEO doesn't change the whole entire culture of what Disney, was designed to do. So Disney is known worldwide for their customer service, their diversity, equity, and inclusion in it. So if it changes over time, then it's temporary. It's not the basis of where they stood. But when we look at Disney, when all of us look at Disney, and we look at products that we get from them now, with ABC, we look at Hulu, all the Disney Plus, all the channels that we're buying at a subscription, cost right now, we can make a decision. And I canceled Hulu. I did. I didn't have Disney Plus, but I definitely canceled Hulu. And of course I went ahead and got it back once Jimmy Kimmel came back.
Way to do it.
Yeah.
I still got to catch up on the latest the last Captain America, and then I might be out.
Yeah, well, I did it because they did bring them back. And it's a couple of good shows, and also it's also a way to catch Jimmy Kimmel too, because from what I understand, WJLA, is that the Baltimore station?
No, but I know, but Sinclair and the other carrier decided that they are not going to show.
It don't matter. Somebody's gonna pick it up on YouTube. We'll see it. We'll see it a couple of days later on Hulu. Sinclair don't have to carry it.
Yeah.
Really, we're gonna watch Jimmy Kimmel, and if anything, it brought more ratings to him for those who hadn't been watching. Who can't stay up late enough to watch Jimmy Kimmel. We're now gonna be clamoring to go.
Absolutely.
And Disney lost
that episode that he was out.
They lost They lost almost $4 billion
right
worth of value.
Yeah. Which goes to show you have 50% of the population that is, that totally disagrees with this. Because this wedge in the sand is an earthquake.
Yeah.
It is an earthquake. It is a split. That is way more than just, we'll have some water come in and then the line goes away. It's I forgot what they call that when you have that divide. The faults. There's a fault line.
Yeah, the fault lines. Yeah,
the fault line.
The size of a mountain, a crater. Yeah. So people diabolically opposed to, him being suspended. Plus, probably 95% of African Americans. I think the numbers are highly exaggerated. Those that are converting, that are moving to the MAGA. So I think they overinflate how many African Americans.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the reason why I say that is because there is no way that if you could be African American, that you would support someone saying that African Americans aren't equal, that they shouldn't be a part of the society, that affirmative action doesn't apply to them, that they should compete equally. It goes against your own humanity to support things that would create barriers for your legacy's existence.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why I was unfriending people on Facebook and
absolutely
and really talking to a couple of my brothers who I'm still friends with them on Facebook, and they like, we need to have a conversation. I'm like, no, I ain't talking. We ain't have no conversation, because if this is what we're talking about,
oh Lord,
you're not going to convince me of that mindset.
I have some people that I have long and deep relationships with, and Lord knows, oh Lord,
it's
Father,
like, what?
Father, help me in Zion. I mean, that it is. Lord, I just have to end the conversations with, well, you know, I love your family, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
love you
leave it.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
you
the
know.
way you did that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
but
you.
Oh
that's
yeah, you saw when I
but
did that right
Yeah, I
there.
saw.
we ain't
Yeah.
have no conversation, baby. Because you'll need to preach it up. You know, one got on
Oh,
some scriptures with me. I'm like, wait a
I
minute, hold
mean,
up.
people
You
who go
almost
back
come here
to
with
my
some scriptures.
old.
I ain't a preacher now, but I know the Bible.
Oh gosh,
That's
I'm
it.
talking about people who go back to my old touring days.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
who go, I mean, that's long. That's back in
Yeah,
ancient times for me, and
exactly.
classmates, you know, from
Yeah.
college and high school, and I'm like, what? I mean, talk about drinking the Kool-Aid. I mean, I have no
Yeah.
idea. But Reggie, I'm going to give it to you right there. I'm in recovery right now. Go ahead, Reggie.
But you know what? The other part of that, it's just truly said, just like you all, I'm just totally blown away by some of the people who, like they say, skin folk but not kin folk. But I too have been just totally flabbergasted and blown away by some people who, like you said, Daryl, we've known since, like I said, back in the day,
Mhm.
since our teens and stuff like that. And I'm still amazed that even out there, like I said, the white people are making it clear to these, black migrants, you're still not a part of us. You're just there. We use you. But yet you still have those people who are so, it's one guy who has a podcast, and I had been following this guy for about the last 2 years, and I never got into him. It's like I would just see his podcast every now and then, and he
Mhm.
has some nice topics. But this guy, came out last week after Charlie Kirk was killed, and I just never knew he was really, a MAGA person.
Right.
Because he was always coming from the, point of, saying how he was such a, proud black man. But
Right.
now we understand his proudness is because he is, a Trump supporter, and he's proud to do that. But I'm at the point I've just gotten, some people, like I said, you have to just let them go. And just like I said, this was a wake up call. I'm happy for one main thing.
Mm.
Between Charlie Kirk and the craziness of Trump, that 90 million people who didn't vote has become a awakened giant now.
Mhm.
And so that's the good thing in Disney. And it was proven by, the amount of people, because I had nothing but time on those long flights to really look into, what was happening. And not just the $4 billion that Disney has lost, but all of the subscriptions that they've lost from like Hulu, and even the theme parks, and even their cruise ships. People have canceled their cruises for 2028 and 2029 and
Mm.
things like that. And those people are not going to go back just because Jimmy Kimmel went back on the air. Now, the good thing about it is people say, you know what, this is the thing that is a bridge too far for me. Because here you are, you have somebody talking about, and it was so amazing because you have some really creative people in this world. Because this black sister out of Chicago, she took everything that Trump said, and there was a segment of his speech where he
Mm.
was naming all of these things. He keeps saying, we create, we invent. Everything he named was a black person. So what she did was everything he mentioned, she put up the black inventor right as he was mentioning it, right? A split second. And she did that juxtaposed on the screen
Mm.
along with it. But everything he noted, about 8 different things, was done by a black person. So at the end of the day, I agree with, Archbishop. This is the thing. Like I said, I'm militant. Kumbaya is not even a part of my repertoire. I won't even let our children sing it at the church. Because we're ready to fight now. I'm
Mhm.
telling people, like Archbishop said, I'm telling people who look like us, you better arm yourself, because even now, even more so now, what you saw at that memorial service for Charlie Kirk, you
Mm.
better believe those are the people who are going out again. And I told you all, many podcasts ago, we are the only communities and the only group of people falling into that trap of letting the police and the government come in and say we're doing our gun buybacks. That is an intentional, devious plot to unarm all the Black people, because I'm telling you, some stuff is going to jump off, along with what Archbishop said with these 3 lynchings and things like that. And not just the 3 lynchings, but there's been some other things, like you said, the young man that they took down there and beat him up and all that kind of stuff. And these were supposed to be his friends. And I'm telling people all over, and especially in church, I said, look, Jesus has not given us the spirit of fear. We're not supposed to give in to no fear. It's time for us to fight. Martin Luther King put it best. If you don't have a cause that's, worth dying for, you don't have a life worth living. And Howard John Wesley said something that was the thing that everybody is using, excuse me, on the clips from his message on last Sunday, a week ago. He says, because just because of the way you died does not redeem the way you lived. And that's a powerful, powerful statement, because he let him know. He said, Charlie Kirk is not somebody who, first of all, he made it clear, you call yourself a Christian, but you're not the Christian of the God that we serve. So we have to accept the fact, after all of these years of our oppressors trying to get us to bow down and obey our slave masters and all that kind of stuff, the Jesus that we serve, the God that we truly serve, love, honor, like Bishop said, was, is, and always shall be, is not the same God of these MAGA people. These people have just made Charlie Kirk and all of those other white supremacists, that is their God. White supremacy is their God.
Well,
we have to accept that.
You know what, though? Everyone in MAGA, to your earlier point, Reggie, about the funeral or the memorial. It's not about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is a tool.
It's a grift.
He's a tool. He's a tool. And so when this thing happened with Disney, they found that to be Donald Trump used that as a prime opportunity. Because he was already targeting, remember, he just got Colbert.
Yeah.
So he was already targeting. Kimmel was high on the list.
Filing every one of them. He named them all. Right.
So the death of Charlie Kirk, this is not a grieving process.
It's not.
As we have ever known it to be. This is an opportunity to try to accelerate an agenda that they already had in their pocket to begin with.
Exactly.
Let me bring Bishop in. Bishop, what you got?
I think one of the key factors here is this.
Oh, hold on, Bishop. Hey, y'all, Bishop done changed up back there. I don't know what he's up to, Monica and Reggie. I'm getting worried now.
Come on, Bishop.
I have to be unapologetically who I am.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, and I think we have to. We all have to understand something. The family has to understand something, even when it comes to our so-called religion that we profess. Is that the verbiage that we use? Number one is theirs.
Right.
Okay. So I have, me personally, I have embraced the Paleo-Hebrew terminologies for the deity and for the Messiah. That's number one, because what that does is that takes power away from the machine that was invented against us. Okay? And let us be very clear in that invention. The invention was, or the concept was, I'm going to remove your language and replace it with ours. And
Yes.
with our language, you will share our ideology.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And so I don't use, unless I'm around people who are ignorant of the true names, and I have to ease them into it. The reason being is because we're forgetting something, and we have to look at this thing and be very blunt. The transatlantic slave trade was not just economic; it was also religious.
It's also religious, absolutely.
Okay, it was said. Okay, the Roman Catholic Church is the one who validated genocide.
Come on, yes.
And enslavement of people who did not follow the Catholic faith. But the whole thing was Catholicism actually stems from Africa.
Absolutely.
Okay. What they were saying is you have to conform to us. What did Paul write? He said, "Be not what? Conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." And this, the problem is we are at a point where we have to renew our minds. We have to get off of this thing of how we are going to combat a system that is already against us, and we have to come to grips with, we have to develop our own system that is going to protect us, promote us, and elevate us to the next level. Now, I know it's radical to hear these kind of things, especially coming from a young guy like myself, but the Disney that I knew when I was a young lad is very much different from the Disney that we see today.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, all of their cartoon fantasies were based on one particular race, and if there was anything darker than that, it was portrayed as evil.
Yes.
Okay, and that's the perception that they want to give to the world. And so when we talk about these things, we have to talk about truth. Okay, yes, Disney has changed, but Disney hasn't always been on our side. I remember back in the day, in the 80s and 70s and 80s and 90s, where it was hard for people who looked like us to even get a job.
Yes.
On one of the amusement parks.
Exactly.
Okay. So we've got to come to those brass taxes, and we've got to say, yes, they've done some things that are good, but I remember where they start.
Right.
So let me just jump in there real quick because you're absolutely correct that, they did portray, African American characters as either criminals or, something to be ridiculed in their stuff. But you also have to give credit to when an organization evolves and you begin to see characters that look like you. And you're right. We didn't see them growing up, but we didn't see any images, any positive images of African Americans for a very long time until we started seeing Good Times and the Jeffersons and Bill Cosby. Honestly, I mean, we were adults at that time. Before Bill Cosby, we actually saw professional African Americans, people that we knew growing up. We knew doctors and lawyers. They were our neighbors.
Yes.
Your parents are your father was a doctor, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we knew these people were growing up, but it really wasn't until late 80s that we really started seeing those images. So in the context of the times, these organizations, these white organizations with no people of color working with them, no representation at all, are now trying to figure it out without us at the table. So we see like the end of that, and maybe our children, will see better images and representation of themselves. So, but you're right. The context of the time, we've never been considered in anything. Certainly not in my childhood.
And keep in
mind, that's key and pivotal, because we have to remember, and I always go back to this.
Mm-hmm.
The scripture poses a question. It says, "Can the Ethiopian change his skin?
Yes.
Or a leopard change his spots?" The answer, quite frankly, is no. And I know we've got skin bleaching processes and all this other kind of stuff, but the underlying thing is that it is still inherent in the DNA and the genetic makeup.
Right.
So we have to start looking. I don't need to be friends with people who don't want to be friends with me.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have to love them, but that doesn't mean I can love them from a distance.
I do. That's it.
Okay.
That's
and so and I'm sorry, but the way I see it is, let's go along to get along time has most definitely come to an end, because all of this stuff that's building up, it's really building up to something that none of us is ready for, and none of us can handle.
Exactly.
Me as, of course, the resident capitalist of the group here, I think that there you go, Monica.
All about the money.
Remember, Disney brought Kimmel back while knowing that they would tick off Donald Trump, and they made a financial calculation that it is worth more fighting Donald Trump.
Yes.
It's better to fight right now financially. It's better to fight Donald Trump than to fight all these people who are unsubscribing and not showing up to cruises and not coming to the parks, because at the end of the day, Disney is only accountable to their shareholders and their customers.
That's it.
Even to them above the president, because the president does not have the power in their calculation that the people have. And I think that that's a lesson for our society even now. That I think right now, if we want to have something to say, we need to say it with our wallets.
Right.
And go ahead.
And let me sit there with that. And that's why with Sinclair and what's the other company that's not going to show? The other company that's not going to show Jimmy Kimmel.
Right.
I mean, the bottom line is this. We just proved collectively that the people still had the power. Because like you just said, Disney was not prepared to take a $4 billion hit. Somebody actually went to the park down in Disneyland and our Disney World, both in Florida and California, at like 2:00 in the afternoon on Sunday and Saturday. The parks were empty. They didn't have look like 100. There were more workers there than there were guests. People took to heart, because even the ones who may not even really support bringing back Jimmy, they were too afraid to go to the parks because they thought something might be jumping off and all that type of thing. So at the end of the day, you are absolutely right. The shareholders and all of those people were the ones who were making, and I guarantee you within the next
they were watching.
They were watching. And you were changing leadership. You're going to definitely see a change in leadership, because at the end of the day, it's all about the money. And piled it back in with Kirk. The thing is, people also realize, as many as people turned out to that memorial service, they still do not equal the wrath of all the people who have now been awoken from that sleep of ignorance about just saying, well, like, I'm not going to vote, I'm not going to do this. No, people say, this is a bridge too far. Those corporations, Sinclair, because I can't wait, because Sinclair put out a release yesterday when Jimmy came back saying that they still weren't going to carry him. you better believe their shareholders are watching too.
And and because local ad dollars could be affected, and
they will be affected. They will be affected.
And like Manika said, they will find Kimmel on other platforms. It's now things are too decentralized now.
And I don't know if you all heard this, but I heard this while I was in midair. I just saw a news flash because that's all you can do on the plane for 12 hours. NBC had offered him $200 million to come sign with them because the mere fact that they suspended him without cause was basically a breach of their contract.
Put him in the market. Yeah.
Right. And so NBC offered him $200 million to come sign with them. That's why I don't care what nobody said. That was the catalyst of which made them come all of a sudden say, we've been in discussions with him and all that kind of stuff, and we've agreed. And he came back and said, I'm still going to say everything I want to say. And
he had to come in with that because he had to signal to his supporters that he was standing on business. So and he still acted in decency as a human being.
But he hit him hard. He threw some knockout punches in there.
Right,
but then for our part 2, because I know we're gonna have to cut this one short.
Yeah,
we all
got something before we go. Yeah,
right. But we're gonna have to discuss the new theories behind Charlie Kirk being killed.
That's a whole pod.
That's a whole podcast.
Yeah.
That's a whole pod.
I know somebody who is right now currently one of the sharpshooters with the FBI, and he says he says, Reg, don't believe what you're hearing. That guy was not on that roof who shot him. That was somebody back on that ledge.
Yeah.
Behind him. They said because it's no way that shot could have been made like they trying to say it was made.
I was explaining that to my family actually. And knowing how sharpshooting works. That was a very questionable hit.
No way.
So
it's a few things that begs the question, and my goodness, Benjamin Netanyahu, if he comes out with one more denial, that he didn't kill John, that's a whole nother. But let me
no credibility.
Let me let Bishop. You wanted to talk about the latest federal ruling. I want to slide that in, guys.
Before you have to go.
There is a ruling by federal court against Donald Trump and his administration.
I saw that.
Calling his actions in the use of National Guard illegal. I forgot the actual title, but
the posse is that
the Posse Comitatus, right?
Yeah, the Posse Comitatus, right. Yeah.
Okay, and the Posse Comitatus Act. And here's the thing. Anytime you use your military to weaponize against your own people, and this is the one thing I have to say to our Democratic brothers and sisters, as well as our Republican brothers and sisters. Anytime you do not understand what the Second Amendment is actually for.
Yes. Right.
Okay, and we are seeing a tyrannical government right now.
Right now.
This is why they want to disarm you. This is why they want to, Brother Reggie was talking about those gun buybacks. This is why they want to take power out of your hands so that you cannot retaliate if and when a tyrannical government uses military force against its own people. Now, what does that mean? I'm not a political whiz. I'm just a simple preacher. But I'm those who have the prowess in the political arenas, such as Madam Mayor. Would you tell us what exactly this really means when he is found guilty of using the Posse Comitatus Act, and what are the implications? What can happen and what should happen?
So basically, that is really a good conversation to have. And I would even recommend doing a whole entire show on
Yeah.
the misuse
Yes.
of the military and how it impacts us in this country. The fact is, he is you know, the leader of the free world. The president of the United States is head of the military.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
any military, even though the actions that he is doing are considered illegal and they go against the Constitution, they go against all the policies, processes, and procedures that are in place for governing this nation. Um, he is the leader of the free world. So any officer has to, has to respond to him in the affirmative, or they will be court-martialed, so to speak. So there's a cross 22 that when you're in a presidency like Trump is, your goal is in America is to have someone that, that is a firm believer in the Constitution, that
Right.
when they, take that oath of office, they are affirming that they're going to support the Constitution of the United States.
Well, we're not going to talk
Also,
about how he didn't have
yeah,
his name on the Bible at the inauguration.
or
So
whatever it was, you swear to. Yeah, he didn't even do that if you recall that.
yeah,
And so, so basically, that is that is it. The expectation is probably not going to be any actions against him. I mean, the president will never be court-martialed. He'll never be, uh, unless someone just actively hangs someone for treason,
Mhm.
there's no process that will not do it, especially with the weight that Supreme Court has given him and the rope that they've given him to really just go out there and breach it. It's going to take a level of consciousness for us to get this country back
Yes.
to centering the Constitution in a way that most people interpret it.
Right.
Yeah, and I would say as well that to that point is if we can get out of this, um, we will know that he will have found every single hole in our Constitution to exploit,
Right.
and it's going to take a Congress and a president that will make that the first thing on their agenda
Yes. Yes.
to pass laws and legislation, and maybe we have to do some court packing uh
Yeah.
for because I must say that I was a proponent of packing the court
Yeah.
last term
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of a few things that needed to take place. I know that it could be a slippery slope, and I know it could get out of hand um, on either side. But
Right.
we're seeing that with gerrymandering right
Right.
now as well. But I think that it's going to take us to put in a lot of work to shore up all of those. I mean, the framers of the Constitution had no idea of Donald Trump. I mean, that was something that was totally out of their view that you had a Donald Trump, but maybe they should have looked at Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
But
There's something deeper than that, Brother Darrell, is this.
Uh-huh.
And anybody who has served understands UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice. They understand that there's a difference between a lawful and an unlawful order. They understand that an unlawful order is anything that is in opposition to the Constitution of the United States.
Right.
So to the military, the standing military, the powers that be, the upper echelon, I say shame on you for not even following your own law.
Exactly.
Okay? But kowtowing to a wannabe dictator,
Right.
Mhm.
and who fancies himself a monarch. Okay, even when he went to England, he made a mockery out of him.
Can I run a blueprint reel? You think, guys? Can we do this reel somewhere soon? Because my goodness, I have a lot of material sitting on the.
You know, the thing is, you walk with the king of that country. In fact, you're supposed to walk at least 2 to 3 steps behind and to the right or to the left, depending on which position of honor he gives you.
Exactly.
Okay. But here he is leading the charge, and the inspection of British military,
right,
that he has no control of. What an asinine thing to do. Yes, and I did use the word asinine. That pretty much sums up what we're talking about. This whole thing, it's ridiculous.
You know? Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm going to let us go here. This is the part 1 of
we got to be continued. This is definitely
a two-piece pod that we're doing today. So we'll pick back up in the next episode. Everybody, I want to thank you all for joining us here on the podcast. We thank you for just supporting and being a part. Make sure you do like, share, and subscribe on all our channels here on Believe Broadcasting. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, and we'll catch you on the next time. You all have a good day and God bless.
God bless everyone. Take care.